Welcome back to the Anti-Social Frat House.
Where Ace smacks his lips 5 times a fucking second.
I'm Ace. That is JJ.
Hola.
And we got Sheo here.
No, I'm Zodiac.
Oh, you're Zodiac today. Oh, no.
Not Highland.
And that's the
big-
warrior of darkness.
It's the warrior of darkness. And today we are we're just chilling with the big old Corona-chan keeping us locked inside. There's nothing to do
Yep.
but play video games. So, how is life, boys? How's life?
Well, I've been off the past 2 days from work, so boring.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've completed the COD Season 2 pass.
Yeah.
It was painful.
When does
I did
season
too.
2 end?
It ended like 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours ago, I think.
No, I think it was 3.
Was it 11
I think it was
p.m.
11.
Pacific time?
Then what would that be? Oh, God.
I had 3
Yeah.
hours for me, I had 2 for you.
Okay, so an hour then.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Um,
That
Warzone
would
has a
be...
new plane.
It-
They
God,
got government.
yeah.
They've got government funding. I'm sorry.
Who?
What?
Call of Duty Season 3, the planes, they got government funding. They look nice now. That's what they're spending all the money for the mask on.
Oh no. So I've been probably the only one that actually gets out of the house, and all I do is work and then come home.
I mean, I get out of the house when I have to get work, since I'm considered essential, but...
In the
Yeah.
arms of the angle.
But so get this, guys. My job is now selling bread and
Bread?
towels.
Brat und Wasser.
We're a cookie delivery company that now delivers bread and paper towel rolls.
What about toilet paper?
No toilet paper yet.
Yet's keyword.
If we start selling toilet paper, I'm gonna be a little mad.
Now, do y'all sell like loaves of bread, or is it like the bread that's sliced? What kind of bread?
It's a sliced loaf of bread for like $3.
So are we talking like French bread type sliced bread?
Texas toast.
Texas toast? Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
So we're selling bread. A drama that I can't go into at work has happened. So that's been my thing for the past couple of days. It's been what I've been trying to deal with, and it's quite a lot. A lot of people getting fired for just being negligent, being assholes, and we need to clean house. So that's as much as I can say on that. But other than that, my life has been pretty fucking.
You know, now that you started talking about bread, this reminds me of back in Africa. A lot of people would eat bread and drink like the fucking, like, I'm talking like a whole thing of bread and drink a 2-liter Coke as their lunch. And I thought it was weird at first, but when you try African bread, you never can go back. Like KFC, fuck their biscuits. Bring me the loaves of bread that they sell to the Africans. That shit's amazing.
Does it have like sugar in it or something?
No, it's just normal fucking bread, but it's really well cooked.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know, but like when you said that, I was like, if they selling bread like African loaves, I'm hopping. Yeah.
You said cooked, and I started thinking about my last job.
Cook.
Oh.
We're getting trigger words.
Yeah, we're getting trigger words.
Is walk a trigger word now?
It depends
Outside.
how you spell it.
W-O-K?
Oh shit. He got me. PTSD from back in Nam.
Oh my god.
The worst part about that, for those who don't know that context, I used to work for a Vietnamese restaurant, so me saying something like that is like really fucked.
I mean this with no malintent, but the trees in the walk. Ding 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 ding. Why are there trees?
Oh,
Stuff.
Lord have mercy on
Yeah.
all of our souls.
I just had to bring up the Lorax memes.
Yep.
Yep. Lord will not have mercy. Never.
So, what other stories do you have to share about Africa? Because I don't actually think you've told me many stories except for the lion one, and like one other one about your school.
Yeah, so I went to the Cradle of Mankind one time, which is like where do you know about Mrs. Pless? It's a skull of like the most ancient human skull that's been found.
Really?
Yeah, so it was found in the Cradle of Mankind, which it wasn't called that at the time that it was found, but that's what they came to call it, and now it's like this big center. It's actually Mr. Pless. They just called it Mrs. Pless, thinking it was female. There's reasons for that would offend certain groups. But so I went there, and they have like this whole tour in a museum above, and then they take you in a boat ride through like ice caverns that they've made, and then it ends up inside the cave systems of Sturkfontein caves, and you get to go and like walk through all these cave systems and just see like there's another person corpse and all that found there called Littlefoot, and basically what happened was back in ye olde African days when people were still hunting with sticks, this hunter fell in a hole in the ground into the cave systems and broke their legs and couldn't get out, and so their body was perfectly preserved down there. And so that's another one of the places that they found the remains. So
Why?
yeah, so there's this underground lake as well, and at one point me and my friend decided it'd be good to wander off and to go like take a look at the cave lake again. And so then we do that, and we got lost. And so we were lost in the system for like half an hour to an hour. Don't really know. It's dark. It's very dim. They barely have any lights. And we find an exit, and we just walk out, and there's our entire class looking at us like we're a bunch of idiots, and we're like, "Hi, we had an adventure." And they're like, "You realize that we've been looking for you ever since we noticed you were gone?" And apparently there was an exit that we bypassed that would have been much easier to get out of. We had to like climb through this one area to get out. But yeah, so I got lost in some cave systems with a friend. And yeah, never want to do that again.
That's an eventful story.
Mm-hmm. That sounds fake as fuck. You want to come at me? No.
Dude, like
That's
half
interesting.
your and my life stories are like they sound fake as fuck, and no one would believe them, but
Yeah.
they happened.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everyone has a story like that, just at least one.
Yeah. So, JJ, what's your story? Everyone has at least one.
Honestly, nothing comes to mind. Because, as with Casey, I've lived in North Carolina. Nothing fucking goes on around here.
Not even like anything crazy in high school, any like stupid adventure you had outside.
Yeah.
Just typical stuff. Skipping class at the end of the year because grades are already finalized. Chicks walking in with cum on their shirts.
What? I want to hear this.
Whoa. Okay, so something you need. Sheo and I, we didn't go to a traditional high school, and so That's not normal.
Yeah, I'm hearing this. I'm like, what?
We're like,
No, it's a real short story. Is in the middle of science class, chick goes to the bathroom. 20 minutes later, comes back, and everyone's doing the normal like high school kid thing where they're laughing and cackling because there's a stain on her fucking shirt.
Yep.
She was like,
Nah, it's not cum. It's the special sauce that they give you in the bathroom.
yeah, that. Sure.
I swear, it's not cum. It's just the soap.
Hey.
I slapped my hands together and it's sprayed back on my shirt.
Actually, no, she owned it.
Oh, she owned it?
She just owned it.
Whoa.
She's like, yeah, I met my boyfriend in the bathroom.
Better than the janitor.
Whoa.
Wasn't there that
Intriguing.
one rumor about that chick in the janitor?
The what?
That one chick in the janitor, wasn't there a rumor?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't want to say her name, but
The janitor fucking creeped me out, and so
Yeah.
I like never really tried to talk to him. If he ever tried to talk to me, I just kind of like pretended like I didn't notice him.
he had a crack nail.
Yeah,
Yeah, like real bad.
I believe he was like a drug addict, and it just I felt really uncomfortable with him.
Yeah.
At the same time, he didn't give me like any pedo vibes or anything like that. So
No,
that
it was
like
just
the good part.
God.
Speaking of kids and janitors, that reminds me, we had a bit of a scandal where one of the teachers who was married fucked a student. And continually fucked a student.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. The student was 18. Still doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the teacher in question, I believe, was a math teacher who was also married to a social studies teacher at our school.
Hmm.
And the math teacher, the female, would regularly meet up with the student. To be honest, they wouldn't have gotten caught if they didn't fuck at the school.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that and the student was a fucking dumbass. He was bragging about it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He was probably the.
Yeah.
Fucking whatever her name is.
You know. And then I had the social studies teacher the next semester, because I think he took like a good 6 to 8 months off. Like he took the rest of the fucking semester off after that happened. And then I had him that next semester, and everyone was like, given what happened, like, is he just gonna be like a fucking dick?
Bro.
I mean, like, and just pissed off all the time and just real harsh, or no? But he did end up leaving, and I think going to go work at the community college.
we had a math teacher at our high school that was like really fucking smoking hot my freshman year. She was like my homeroom teacher, and so this became like a because every class that came in afterward, they would hear the legend of this teacher, and none of them would believe us, because it's just like you don't think that like a 25-year-old woman would be a teacher with a master's degree at this random school. And it's like you would hear all these stories about how she'd go work out with like the students during gym class, and at certain points people would see her like with a camel toe while she was working out, or after she'd get done working out during class or something like that. It was there were a lot of stories going around about it, and it was really like it was inappropriate for us as students to be thinking of her that way, but like it's kind of hard not to notice when you're in a school full of like 500 people, only 500 people compared to normal high schools, and the hottest person there is a teacher.
She was aight.
She's aight.
She's
It's 'cause you
aight.
don't like blondes.
Not a thing anymore, but even then, she's just aight.
Fuck, what else was there? there's another teacher we had that always had like her nipples poking out of her shirt, no matter how many layers she had on, no matter like whether she's wearing a jacket, a bra, and a t-shirt.
Oh.
Or... yeah,
Nah,
you remember the teacher.
I was like, who's he talking about? And I'm like, oh fuck.
You remember
No.
the teacher. She was a nice teacher, but God,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
You would be just trying to have a conversation with, look down for a second. Next thing you know,
You're just looking far up.
Mm-hmm. You're
Yep.
like, nope, not looking down again.
Yep.
She had a daughter that she brought to the school often too, so it's just like it just made it more awkward.
Yeah.
She actually, I can't say that. That's crossing the line.
That's crossing the line.
I'll tell you all later. But crossing the line. Not in the way that you're obviously thinking, considering making noises over there.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sheo knows exactly what
Probably.
I thought myself.
Yeah.
Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna move it along.
Oh.
I didn't know how to do it though, so I said
So are we sticking to the kind of topic we have here with like past stories of our younger years?
Yeah.
Are we moving on from that?
Do you
Wait,
want
we
to?
have topics? I thought this podcast was one of those podcasts where we never have any topics, but we still find something to talk
Yeah.
about.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
how
we're
it starts.
We're definitely one of
I
those.
thought that was the start, middle, and end.
Yeah. So
Pretty much.
I could talk a little bit more about Africa and some of the weird shit that happened, like con men, if you want.
Sure,
Like,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
what specifically
We're all about culture
con men?
here.
All right. So as we are con men ourselves, we can learn from the con men of Africa.
Oh,
So
I shall learn. Where's my notebook? Hold on.
all right, do you want to learn about the kids or the adults first?
Kids.
All right, so the kids, they put on some like face paint and all that. It was some weird, creepy clown looking shit. And then while you're driving, whenever you are about to slow down, they'll run in front of your car so you'll hit them. And then you'll get out and go, oh my God, and give them money and all that so that they don't go and report you or anything. But once you do that, then they write down your license plate because they know you give out money. So then they go and tell the other kids that are trying to go and con people to do the same to you. So, yeah. Kids.
So you get screwed out of money.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah, the adults were a little more crafty, but honestly, some of the shit they did at the end of the day was just dumb. Like, there's one dude, he was, like, all wrapped up, like, has bandage across the face, he is in crutches, and he's begging for money. This motherfucker goes, at the end of the day, just puts his crutches up, takes off the bandage, and just walks down the street normally.
Dang.
I shit you not, he just walks. And it just stuff like that. I was like, really? So now whenever I'm back in America, it's really hard for me to go and feel bad for like our panhandlers, because I feel like they have more resources. They can go and figure out how to not completely be on the streets, unless it's like mental illness or something like that. But even then, it doesn't garner sympathy from me, because
Right.
I've seen too many scammers in Africa to really feel anything towards people that are begging.
I mean, it's just hard to feel bad for them anyways, because it's like if you've been paying attention, there's been like a spike in people who just like go out and panhandle, and then they'll just at the end of the day go hop into like a Maserati or some shit
Yep.
and drive off in the sunset, and you're just like, did I get conned by a fucking rich person? Like, what is this?
There was one thing, one of the time that I met a con man in America, that it cost me my date.
What?
Yes, so I went on a date with this girl, and once I tell you, like later on who it is, but for this we'll just stay anonymous. So we're on a date. Everything's going well. We're talking, having fun. We go out and all that of where we were eating, and this dude walks up to me and he starts selling me this like story basically about how like he's from another state and he is needing gas. His car ran out of gas and he just needs some money and all that. And I'm like, this is obviously a fucking scam. Like, no. He had the whole car setup thing, but I was like, yeah, this is a scam. So I basically told him like, no, I'm not gonna give you money, stuff like that. And so as like he walks away, and then she gives him money, and I'm just like, oh, so now I'm gonna be a dick for not giving this dude money when it's a scammer. And so we chatted afterwards and all that, and she's like, no, I don't blame you for that, but she definitely did. Yeah.
I feel like you told me this story before now, and now that you started to go more in detail on it, I don't remember who exactly, but you can always tell me later.
Cause like after that, we went on like one or two other dates after that, and after that one, like everything felt really awkward.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I would have been on your side with that. I wouldn't have given him any money.
Not even for a chick. I won't do it for a chick.
It reminds me of actually 2 times. One, just quick story. I just went to Olive Garden one night to pick up some food for myself. I stopped because I realized I was a little bit early. Just sat in my car, finished watching my YouTube video that I had playing while I was driving down there. And dude stopped, knocked on my passenger window. I rolled it down ever so slightly so I could only hear him, but he couldn't like reach in or anything like that. And he gave me some sob story about him and his wife and went over to this other woman. The issue that I had was that they were talking about how they had lost their home and had 2 kids and everything. One, I didn't see 2 kids. I saw him and who he called his wife. 2, he was dressed pretty decently for a person that lost his home. Like he didn't seem like he was trashy. He had on a collared shirt. No one that is a home person is going to be wearing a collared shirt in Texas, where it's fucking humid as all fuck. It's like it's hot and humid. You're not gonna wear a collared shirt all day if you're homeless and been outside all day. Or even if you've been in a car all day, you're not going to leave the car running all day, so you shouldn't be in a collared shirt. But it was clearly a scam, and I told him, sorry, don't have anything. At the time I didn't carry cash, and I still don't, purely for that reason. And so I told him, I'm like, I don't have any cash. I can't give you anything. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
The other time, it reminds me of my first date with
Ah.
Yeah, I've told you this story a million times.
Yeah.
Sure. But it was so my first date with my last girlfriend. It's really hard to admit everything that happened. I shouldn't have gone the way that it did. But she didn't want to admit to her mother she was, because everyone that she dated, her mother would tell them the right way. She felt like her mother was gonna like me, that she would try to get me to break up with her or something like that. And those are all kind of valid considering the story she told me about her past boyfriends. And so she made up a lie that she was going to the movies with her friends. But of course, it couldn't be a lie. So she actually brought her friends along, had them. And so I felt uncomfortable with the fact that I was going to be alone. And so I asked my friends, Spencer. And for anyone that knows how Spencer acts, because I know he's been in a few of my streams and everything, he's interesting dude, and it can only go so many ways. But me and Spencer, we go to the mall, we go chilling, we go into the movie, everything's all right. He tries to sit away, but all her friends sit right next to her, so it's like nothing's gonna happen between me and her, obviously. Well, Spencer was just trying to be a bro and like not pay attention to us, so I was just like, dude, come sit next to me, because it's like it feels really fucking awkward to be sitting next to her and all her friends alone. And so he did. He came over, sat next to us. In fact, I think she mentioned the fact that he should just sit with us. So later on, her friends wanted to go look at a bunch of stores, and so a bunch of different things happened, such as they went into Victoria's Secret, and Spencer tried talking me into going in there because he thinks that I should be a man and I should follow her around because she's my girlfriend and make sure she's okay, this and then the other. And then Spencer walked into the Victoria's Secret and stood with these girls while they looked at like lingerie and shit. And me standing outside the Victoria's Secret already feeling awkward, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Now I have to follow my friend in. And so now I follow Spencer in there. And there's a very awkward situation. I didn't want to be there at all at that point. But they go into a shoe store at some point. And so Spencer and I were just like, okay, they're right over there. We're not interested in shoes at all. We don't give a shit. Let's go look at something else around here. So we walk into a sunglasses hut. And we go looking at a bunch of sunglasses. Oh, these are cool, try something on, walk out the store. Right as we walk out the store, a gentleman grabs our attention. Notice we both have on glasses at that point. And he tries to sell us on a solution of glasses cleaner. Now, the solution that he's trying to sell us is $20 for a tiny bottle. Like an 8-ounce bottle. Just not even that much. And we both knew it was a scam. And we later found out that both Spencer and I had the same thought going through our heads. And that was, hopefully the other guy could get us out of this. We were waiting for the other person to take the initiative to get us away from this dude. And so neither of us would step away. So we ended up just standing with him while he cleaned our glass stuff, while he convinced us to basically buy this solution. And the way he got us was he convinced Spencer to spend $10 of his own money on it and me to spend $10 of my own money, and just to call it a day at that point, because it's like, well, y'all both bought half of it, y'all both can use it because you both have glasses, and if you like it, you can come back and buy more. So we fell for it just because we couldn't tell him no. Sad story.
This reminds me of that fucking thing that dude was trying to go and sell you for your car.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that shit was whack. At the fucking gas station.
I feel so bad because we're not letting JJ talk, but
yeah.
like I want to tell this story too, because I'm sure.
Go ahead. I've got nothing in regards to this.
Okay.
So, I'm just over here on 14 anyways.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna try and make this one fast, but were you were with me that whole time, right?
I was there at the gas station, but I wasn't there after.
Nothing happened after.
Nothing happened? Okay, I'm thinking of a different thing then.
No.
I know.
No,
I'm thinking of two
the same
separate. Thing. Yeah, but I'm thinking of two separate things because I thought you had something that some dude did to your car, and it was like for the paint or something.
That was a gas station, dude.
Then was it the fucking plunger thing?
Same dude.
Same dude? Okay.
So I used to have a BMW. It was a 2001 330i for anyone that's interested in the make and model. It was faded because it was old. Me and my family, we didn't have the money to get a paint job, and we just the car was already costing us money in the first place, but they were telling me as a graduation present, we'll get a paint job for the car. So they wanted me to find a place that could get a paint job, make it look nicer, just so if I ever wanted to sell it, it'd be worth a little bit more. So we were driving down the road. I think we'd just come from either a house. Well, did we come back from a friend's house?
Yeah.
Was it Adams?
No, because we were near Lexington Woods area that day, so I think Alexander.
No, that just doesn't seem right. Because we would have exited on the one road that goes in front of his.
But we were
neighborhood.
at that gas station.
I think we were coming from Adams and going to Alex.
Could be.
Anyways, it's not important, but I had some guys in a nicer looking BMW wave me down and asked me a few questions about the BMW and then asked if I could pull over into the gas station right next to us so we could have a quick conversation. I, of course, was confused and didn't know what else to do as a teenager who like barely knew shit about his own car. And so I pulled over into the gas station, and of course, Sheo and I, we looked at each other and we're like, if anything happens, we have each other's back because this is really shady.
I think I had my knife on me at the time too.
You had something on you.
Yeah,
you,
that's
you
why I
told me
wasn't
you had
that
something on you.
concerned. I had one of my weapons.
And so the dude, he said that he worked for the BMW dealership. He also knew a guy who specifically did like body detailing for BMWs, and that he could get me a cheap paint job. And to prove the point, he chose like 3 that were very, very faded. And he sprayed some shit that he had in his trunk on it, which happened to be the right color or slightly the wrong color or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first 2 weeks, it looked great. It looked like it actually made the color come back, and then it started to fade, and you could tell that it was a different color than the one that my car was.
Yep.
And so it looked awful. The other thing he did was he also noticed there was a little bit of a dent, and he pulled some tool out of his car that looked like a weird plunger, and popped out a dent out of my car. And we were just like, what the fuck?
It was like something. It was like the plunger head with a handle. That's what it looked like.
It was really weird. But we were getting some really sketch vibes off of them. They said they worked for a BMW dealership, but I doubt that because I described them to my dad, who did work at the nearest BMW dealership, and he said he didn't know anyone that looked like that or would say anything like that. And so we never saw him again. They gave me their number, but I deleted it out of my phone immediately after my dad said that they were probably just trying to scam us.
Yep.
And that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Shady ass motherfuckers.
Just like that lotion.
JJ, you've never been scammed? Anything like that?
That requires that I actually have the willingness to actually want to talk to these people.
Mm.
Well,
And you know my stance on people.
yeah, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. They just talk to you.
I can tell Girl Scouts
don't
that
talk
stand
about
outside my store, no, fuck off.
Oh.
That are trying to sell me cookies.
That sounds like a you thing to do.
I just pretend I'm hard of hearing or I can't hear.
No. I don't do that.
I just straight up ignore them.
Yeah.
Or what I do, or I used to do this in high school, and it was my main tactic to make no one talk to me because I just fucking hated people. Was I put this very angry scowl on my face, and so only the bravest of souls actually talk to me at that point. It's if they really want to sell something to me, then they'll actually talk to me. Otherwise, if it's a Girl Scout, they avoid me. if it's fucking Salvation Army, they avoid me. I just have this very angry look on my face, like I'm them if they even try to talk to me.
I do have a tactic where I say something in like German angrily at them, and then they just stop talking because they're confused. Just an angry German man screaming at them.
Why German specifically?
Because that's what I can like make sentences out of. Otherwise, I'd probably do Russian.
I feel like you'd probably get the cops called on you if you started speaking Russian.
Yeah, but those are like, if you just yell it and have like this tone of voice, those are the two like scariest things to hear. Someone yelling at you is just German or Russian. Huh?
I mean, they're very
Of course.
powerful languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I normally, if I just don't want people to talk to me, I use body language mostly. Like I'll either when I'm leaving the store, I'll like have my phone up, look like I'm looking at it, either because I'm ordering something or just trying not to be bothered because I know the Girl Scouts are right outside the store.
Yeah.
Or if I've got headphones on and I'm out, I'll have them in. And I'll even turn it up towards like you can hear it outside of them, so they know.
I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. And then if they do bother me, I give them that little, the fuck do you want?
Didn't you like? Didn't during our PAX visit, like you'd tell a dude to fuck off? All.
I
you
think
really didn't want to talk to him, but like he just kept bugging us, and you told him to fuck off or something.
That sounds about right.
I don't know, because I remember going to the mall. We were going like, because there was a convenience store that was like the fucking, it was like
Anime fucking store.
no, not that one. I'm thinking about the Texas theme one that's like for souvenirs and shit.
Oh yeah, probably.
That one. I feel like he might have been outside of there.
I just remember something along that lines. You might have not fuck off, but it was essentially leave us the fuck alone.
I feel like I gave him a no, we're not fucking interested.
That sounds more like something you would say.
Yeah, like, I don't really tell people specifically to fuck off.
I only do
like,
that
I
if
put it
people
very
are
bluntly that
persistent.
I don't want to talk. It's like I'm not interested. No thanks. And I use a tone. It's like, yeah, that's it.
Don't cross the line.
It's like, don't ask again. I'm not interested.
Yep. Nah, if I get to that point of the day, it's immediately don't fucking ask.
Yeah. So there's I was this is a random thought that I just had in my mind, but I realized today that I start to get overwhelmed when there's just way too much noise.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if y'all felt the same way before, but like specifically I like today I had 6 people including myself in the kitchen all at the same time, all of them talking pretty loudly to each other, each of them talking in separate groups, the music playing in the kitchen, so there was something to try and talk over, the sound of the ovens baking cookies, of course, and at one point I just kind of started to shut down and just walk away from all of it because I just couldn't handle all the noise all at once.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Just it kind of overwhelms my brain. I hate it.
I think the absence of noise is worse for me. Like absolute absence of noise just starts messing with my mind.
Yeah, I don't want absolute no noise. It's like some form of silence where it's like the most that I can hear is my breathing, like my movements, stuff like that is like when I can actually think. But I'm not saying like I want no noise. Like hell, I can 3 people at the same time and be. It's like if say we had 6 people in here all trying to talk over each other, all playing music in the background as if it was like a stream or some shit, it would be really fucking overwhelming.
Yeah.
Specifically, another example that I can is whenever I do solo streams, how sometimes I'll turn on music while I'm solo streaming, and then if you guys kind of like pop in or like jump into Discord or whatever and want me to join in, I turn off the music because I already have the music and the game audio playing. So it's like I can't handle you guys, the game audio and the music all at the same time. Weird thought, but it just popped into my head because it happened to me today, and I talked with a coworker about it as well.
I smell that.
You fucking what?
I can smell that.
Yeah.
I can smell you.
I can smell you.
No. I can understand that. That, and I went to school with a girl that had like a very thick country accent and very high pitched, like the stereotypical country accent. That gets under my, like, they don't have to do anything, they just have to talk, and it's like, it's nothing with them, it just gets under my skin and makes me want to punch them. I don't know why.
My ex actually had a thick country accent, but she was able to conceal it, like where it does not sound like a country accent at all, and I'm just like, how?
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah. Your most recent one?
Yeah.
Never met her.
Nope. She was always where I was when I was away from homes.
Oof.
Her parents were rich as shit, though.
I remember you told me about.
Yeah,
the times you visited.
I went to her house, like her parents' house and all that, and they had like property. It was almost like a mansion, and they had like a probably 5K movie room.
Was it similar to like Lexi's?
Even better.
Better?
Yeah, like
fuck.
Like they were rich, and I was just like, but
Lexi's had like 10 acres, and then they also owned a like a fucking old warehouse like next to where their house was that also was like for their job. So they had a shit ton of property. In fact, they owned a lot of the fields behind where their warehouse was, and so their thought process to save money was to sell the house that they were currently in and build a house in the back lot behind their fucking warehouse, which I thought was fucking stupid because there was no way anyone could get that.
Yeah. But, yeah, she was rich, but I wasn't a gold digger, and at one point I realized I didn't actually love her, so I was like, yeah, sorry.
It's always the most rough things when you actually try with someone and then...
Because it's not even like she was a bad person or anything. Like, she was a really good person. It's just, I, at one point, just didn't really feel attraction for her, so I was just like, I'm not gonna lead her on. I'll tell her.
That was like me with my first girlfriend, was just... As much as I wanted to be in a relationship status and all that, as much as I wanted to also like feel something for her, because my mom would tell me how cute she was, my friends would always try to like peer pressure me into asking her out, I couldn't feel anything for her. And like even when we were in a relationship, I was just like it wasn't like how the whole Skyla situation went down. Like I was repulsed by anything she did to me, but it was just like I would want to try and feel something, and she'd kiss me on the cheek, and I just it didn't feel right, and I didn't realize that it didn't feel right.
You know, it always makes me like get taken aback whenever I think about how much my personality has changed from high school to now. Because, like, now I'm like, I can be a douche and accept that I'm a douche.
Same, dude.
Before, I'd been like, no, I want to be a good person. Now I'm just like, fuck you.
See, JJ is like, JJ has already been on for like years ahead of.
Mm-hmm.
You're like what, 3 years older than us?
I'm 24. I'll turn 25 at the end of July.
Almost 4 years older than us.
Yeah.
You're probably 4 years older than him.
Yeah.
and just under 4 years for me.
Mm-hmm.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been on that. Now I can be an asshole and not give a shit about it.
Oh no! So it went from me in middle school being like really quiet and reserved, like to the point like a friend that I had later on in high school told me that he hated me simply because I just never talked to anyone. I was that quiet in middle school. And then in high school, I became a smartass to like everyone, like even teachers. Like to the point of one of my English teachers, she would say "peoples" to mean plural, and I would constantly get on to her about it, saying "people" is already plural, and you're not talking in a sense. Like, what are you trying to say? You're a fucking English teacher. I'm not saying use like proper English, but if I can point out this,
Yeah.
like at least set a somewhat decent example.
Yeah.
Just like my professor wrote a very obvious scientific fact as of today, might not be when the book was written. I don't know yet, but yeah, it's wrong in his book, and everyone put it on their paper. And I had to correct them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
I can feel the smartass vibes. That's why we vibe so well, JJ.
See, I don't know exactly where is my whole thing. Is because, like, in middle school, I tried to be cool, and I also tried to be like edgy.
Is
I
that why
thought
there's so
edgy
many
was
black
cool.
t-shirts and baggy black pants in your
I don't
closet,
have,
along with like the shit ton of studded belts?
Edge.
I don't have any studded belts. I don't have any black pants.
Not anymore.
No, I never did.
Mhm.
The edgiest clothing that I ever convinced my grandfather to buy for me was a black and white checkered seatbelt belt.
You want to hear something really fucked up? The edgiest clothing I have is the shit that my ex wanted to wear.
Oof.
That's the kinky stuff.
Oh, the gimp suit.
No. No.
No, but in middle school I was definitely trying to be also trying to be cool. In high school I didn't give a shit about being cool, and I didn't give a shit about people because I realized just people are fucking assholes, and I don't want to be a part of a group of assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that freshman year because I was cool with the cool kids until I said one wrong thing to the wrong person, and then I wasn't cool with the cool kids.
Oh, you pissed off the alpha.
So that's actually the hilarious. I can tell that story if you want me.
Please do.
Simp now.
So back in high school, I made a club called the Gaming Club. It was completely my idea, but I had two people that helped with the idea. One person who already told me they'd already signed up for another club or already wanted to join a different club for other reasons, and another person who was there with me through the whole process, helped me put in the papers, everything. And this kid, he started to become one of the cool kids. He was also he was basically the alpha because he started becoming one of the cool kids. He started getting like a lot more attention from the girls because his looks and stuff like that. And so him and I were really good friends, but obviously I wasn't getting as popular as he was. And so that, of course, to him was a key thing that was happening. And the first year that my club was invented, the way that we had thought to set it up was we were just going to be the presidents, like him and I. We were going to co-run it, and then we would elect every other position because no one else had really helped us exactly like make it. And while we thought about doing that, like we're kind of set on doing that. Our club sponsor, as they called it, which was basically just watched over us while we were in the club. He said that we had to do democratic elections, and the issue with that is like I knew no one in our whole fucking school, any of the people in my club, except for him and like 2 other people that came from my middle school when I transferred here, because I just moved here like 6 months, no, not even 6, it was like 3 months before 8th grade ended. And they voted the most popular kid president, his best friend vice president, and every one of his other friends into a position of power. Now that really kind of set me off because it was supposed to be my club. It was supposed to be how I ran it. It was just something that pissed me off because it was my creation, and I already knew that they weren't going to treat it right. And from the get-go, they didn't treat it right. And so I, at one point, went off on them for the fact that they weren't treating this kid that had helped me, like, started up from the get-go and everything like that. He took their side on it, and so I said something to him about it, and in front of everyone told him that they could all fuck off too after it, and I no longer was with the popular kids. So there were just factions within my club. The factions became in my club the actual gamers, because it was a gaming club that actually played video games. His crew that went outside and played like football and soccer and said that they were also gaming because those are games, or like they'd play football or something like that. And then the group of people who just chose the club so they could have a free period, basically. And that helped me realize I just really didn't give a shit about people. Whoa.
Did you
sorry.
hear that?
Yeah.
It's treason then.
It's treason then.
I had to.
Yeah. But also at that point, since I'd kind of given up on just trying to be a people person, it sort of made me come off as edgy as well, and so fucking talk to me, because I always, like I said earlier, had that just I'm always angry, don't fucking talk to me on. But it was hilarious because everyone that would actually like stop and talk to me, have an actual conversation with me, ask me for help with their school or whatever, they always said the same thing. They said, "Oh, you're actually really cool. You're really nice. We should hang out more." The issue is that I never talked to them again because I didn't want to hang out with them. It's like, as much as they see that I'm a decent person and a good guy, I'm not going to talk to you just because you complimented me. You should have noticed that from the get-go instead of judging me.
That's the thing I don't like about elections based on, like, arbitrary things. Because there's no fucking way that you can get to know a person just by some stupid fucking speech.
Yeah. I mean, honestly speaking, Gabriel was going to become president. Gabriel or Xander were going to become president if Miss Bywaters hadn't given a speech about me and how much I was more dedicated to the cause than they were.
I remember when there was that whole debacle with Gabe making like the Splinter faction where they'd just play Mortal Kombat.
And like the worst part about it was he took like the majority of like the higher ups in our council too.
Yeah.
So like our actual secretary at the time was supposed to be Alex, and he took him along onto his side and everything like that.
Yeah.
But then when you came and we also made you, for whatever fucking reason, he was like, no, I want you as soon as you join. And then, like, gave me Alex. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, Alex has clearly been on your side on every argument we've had.
Yeah.
He's clearly your like,
Bitch.
fan. You're bitch. You're just trying to get a fucking... You're just under your wing so you can have another person to side with you on your arguments.
Yeah, and really what it was is that he was trying to do that because you were complaining about how he was splitting up the club, and
I was completely justified by saying that.
Yeah. Well,
True.
and the part that he fucked up on was the fact that I hated Mortal Kombat after playing with them.
He played the same fucking people all the time, and then fucking Alaric and Jawan would play the same fucking people all the time, and them three just dominated the console. So it's like, if you even wanted to play, you would get your ass handed to you, and then hand it off to the next person, and then they would keep it for like 30 minutes straight, and you're just like, what the fuck?
It was dumb.
It stopped being fun. Like, the club that was supposed to be all about having, the club that, like, I had set up to help, like, unite people, had just started to make people separate even more. And it didn't get any better this year.
I think this was actually around the time we started playing together. I remember you talking about this.
Yeah, it was, and I remember about him. Yeah, but I'm just kind of glad that part is over, because
You know what's real bad?
What's bad?
Okay, so he's called me twice, and like early in the fucking morning, and I'll open my eyes, take a look at the call, and then because the notification it like irritates me, I'll go and click my call log and then click to phone, and it'll clear it, and then I forget that he called me until it's like 3 or 4 days later.
He called me the other night and told me that he was gonna call you at some point, and I was just like, well, he's been stuck at fucking home all day. It's like, just don't fucking worry about him.
Yeah.
Do your shit. Go to work. Like, go home. That's all we need to do. And he's like, no, y'all should come over to my house. And I'm just like, what part of my mom won't let me leave the fucking house after I get home? Do you not understand? It's like, my little brother has asthma. I can't be going around with this fucking corona shit.
Asmar.
Life. Rants. Stuff. Oh boy. I feel like at least 3/4 of this fucking podcast has been story time with Ace.
No. A good portion was story time with Sheo too.
And then I had like my 5% were story time with Midnight.
Yeah.
Like,
well, how about I have Uncle Lenny story time?
Go.
You suggested this. I have no idea how.
You have no
Please,
idea.
by all means. I have no idea how this is going to go.
He explained to us exactly how this is.
I wasn't listening, so go ahead.
So,
You're too busy playing 14.
So to our loving fans, we're gonna have story time with Uncle Lenny, but unfortunately, yes, me.
Only fans.
Only fans. Hey, leave a
Next
comment
week.
if you want us to move.
So dear Uncle Lenny was he was on a fishing trip. He needed to get him some food because the Rona was preventing him from going anywhere else. So Uncle Lenny hiked up the mountain, found a nice river, and then he saw a big fat ass beaver. And he thought, well, this beaver's in my fucking way, so I'm gonna kick it in the ass. So he strode up on that beaver, and he kicked it right in that ass. And then the beaver turned around, and as Uncle Lenny stuck out his tongue to tell him fuck off, he bit Uncle Lenny's tongue. Now, it wasn't just a normal beaver. This beaver had rabies. So now Uncle Lenny had his tongue wound, rabies, and somehow he got hand chlamydia from a koala, but that's a story for another time. So, thank you for being here with Storytime with Uncle Lenny. I'm not Lenny, but I'll make do. All right, thank you for coming on. You want to do the closer?
Sure.
Alright.
we can end with.
All right. So, who wants to do it? Midnight?
Nose goes.
Nose goes.
Do we have a set thing for the closer, or are we just...
Be scummy, self-promoting shit like usually YouTubers are.
Oh, okay. I have nothing to promote, but you can normally find me at twitch.tv ascamer5000.
Not gonna lie.
That's pretty true.
Well, people, if you want to hear more Uncle Lenny stories or some random bullshit that we come up with, make sure to go in and leave a comment, maybe like, maybe subscribe, and we'll keep pumping out some content.
If you want to hear a bunch of assholes talk shitty life is, make sure you subscribe, and we'll probably see you later.
Bye.
Thanks for coming to the meeting.